For this next video, we're going to show you how to save a little money on a minor plumbing repair. And this will fit right in your frugal living episodes that we're running at this time. So as you can see, we have your standard toilet. And what happened was at nighttime when we were sleeping, we heard the toilet running every once in a while without anyone using it. So I'm going to show you what we have inside this tank. A lot of people don't even know that it's a very simple procedure. So we're going to lift the lid off the tank. And we noticed that you don't have that many components in there really. You have the handle or the actuator. When you lift this handle, the flapper lifts up and the water level will drop in the tank. And this is a fill valve which has a float on it which is full of air. And as that water level decreases, that float will go down and it'll allow water to come in and refill the tank. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and replace this. This is the fill valve, and we're also going to replace the flapper. Now, one thing I want you to notice is this water level is extremely close to the top of this. You should have probably a ½ inch between the top of this and your water level, because what will happen is water will keep running down into here, allowing the toilet to refill. And so that's a problem as well. So we're going to go ahead and flush this so you can see how it operates. And we're going to allow the water to fill up. And as the water rises, it's going to start to operate this fill valve, which controls the water coming in to the toilet tank. And after a while, you'll see it start to come up. You can see it rise. And see how high up that water level is? That's allowing water to run into the toilet. So we can see that we have a problem there. Now you can control that with this adjustment right here. You hear it stop? As I turn this counterclockwise, it's pushing that float down more and putting more pressure up here and shutting this a lot sooner than it should be. But we don't really trust that. We're looking at the flapper and we're looking at replacing this, and that's what we're going to do right now. So the first thing that you want to do is reach down here. You'll see a valve. You want to turn that water off. Okay, I turned it clockwise. Some of these valves you have to turn multiple times. The one that I installed is just a 45-degree operation. So we're going to flush that. We're going to hold the handle. That way we drain as much water as we can out of the tank. And as you can see, you always have a little bit left inside of there. I'm going to go ahead and take this flapper off, which just pops right on and off. Very simple. It's got these little detents on the side. And you can pop that off. There's a little clip. And I like to try to remember which hole it's in. On this one, it's in the very end. And there's your flapper. And as you can see, you have a little bit of wear around here, which could allow water to leak inside of there. Okay, and these are the tools that we're going to need. I bought a new fill valve, and that's a universal model. We have a new flapper. And I don't know if you noticed, but this flapper is a little bit bigger than your normal flapper. You have a 3-inch and a 2-inch, and I just happen to have a 2-inch in my pocket. I keep one with me at all times. No, I'm just kidding. You can see that's smaller. So the newer toilets have a bigger flapper, which gives you a little more horsepower, you know, to handle whatever you may put inside of there. So we'll come over here. I always like to put my lid in a safe place because they're very fragile. So, you know, flip that upside down and put it there because they will break. Okay, so we've already turned the water off. Now underneath here, and I don't know if you can see, I'll take the camera and put it there. You can see the nut, the hose, and there's another nut on top of that. What we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the water. Okay, you might get a little bit of water out of here. So I like to have my little bucket there to catch it. We have a tile floor you don't have to worry about, but you know, if you have laminate, you know, you want to try to keep it as dry as possible. So we removed that. You can see a little bit of water came out, but that's okay. We caught it. Swing that out of the way. And then there's going to be a nut right there. Normally these are hand tight, but sometimes over time you have to use a wrench to take it off. I would just push down on it and get it off of there, but since I'm holding the camera, I can't use two hands. So let's see. Okay, I loosened it a little bit. That should be all that it takes. Now, before we take that out of the way, you see that little bit of water that's in there? I like to get out of there. So you can use a sponge or some rags and just soak up all that water as much as you can. Normally, I have this bucket that is so small I can catch it all anyway, but I'm just doing this to show you another option to get all the water out of there. And we'll take, and we'll just do that till we get all the water out of there. See that black? That's nothing. That's just from your water line. And this is actually the freshwater side of the toilet where there's no waste. But that's why it's a good idea to have filtration system on your drinking water, because you can see what you're drinking. That's iron from your pipes that they have. Okay. And again, a sponge probably would be quicker, but you can do it with rags as well. Okay, and there's not much in there right now. Okay, so we close that. And we're going to take that nut off the rest of the way. I like to push down on this and just unscrew it. There's the nut. I'm going to position my bucket under there to catch any water that comes through there. This clip just clips on there. And we're going to discard that. Thank you for your service. Now, one thing I like to do is to save you a little bit of time. I like to compare the height of this. And we knew that we were a little high on our water level. So I like to kind of compare them to see. You can see how high this was. So that's telling me that this was filling too high. And this one, the way it's adjusted, looked like it's going to be just about right. But remember, you also have some fine-tuning adjustment right here that you can turn it. So let's move that about halfway. That way, you know, we can adjust it either way to fill our proper water level.
So what is the purpose of adjusting? So that you use less water?
Well, remember how it was filling too high and the water was going down in the tube? We want this to close quicker.
Sooner.
So in other words, this one right here was coming up all the way to there.
Too much water.
And so this little lever, there's a valve inside of here.
Yeah.
And as this rises, it's a needle valve and it pushes down into a seat, shutting the water out that comes up through here. Mm. So you can see your water pressure comes up through here. It hits this needle valve, you know, and shuts it so it's no longer coming through this tube. This one was very high.
I see.
So we're going to try and adjust the other one. And I like to put it somewhere where I have a little bit of adjustment either way. So you can see right there. Now you can also adjust these this way. You see how I'm screwing that?
So what's the difference between doing it on the bottom versus doing it on
This
the top?
is more of a fine tuning. So, you know, you could see that this one was like up there pretty far, you know. And so again, you know, I like to, you know, make sure that I'm not going up as high. See, that's about a ½ inch of difference, and that's about how far we were off.
Yes.
See the top of this?
Yes.
And the top of that, okay? So we're going to put that in there. And when you put it in, notice this is your water coming out. We want to face that towards here. That way your hose goes directly in here. You don't want it over here, of course, because it's going to bind up here.
Yeah.
You know, you want it out here to where nothing's going to be binding. The handle's not going to hit it. You see it's free to move up and down. You don't want it back here, right there. And the way you identify is that, you know, make sure that that thing operates this way and that your water outlet is pointing towards here. Now these things you don't have to tighten with a wrench because you got this gasket on there. See that? Mm-hmm. A lot of times people put a wrench on there and that's only plastic threads. That's not made for that. So I like to put a little bit of downward pressure on it. Put the nut on there. Tighten it up. And as I'm pushing down, I'm using my hands to tighten that.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not really strong, you could take a wrench or whatever and put it on there, but don't over tighten it. Just give it a little bit of a, so you can feel that gasket compress. That's all you need. I'm going to go ahead and connect my water line to that. And again, you can see this isn't made for a wrench. This is made for your fingers so that you can get enough pressure on there to seal it. And I'll let you go down there and take a picture when I'm done. Or not a picture, but a video of what it looks like. Okay. I'll do it. We can see we're pointed in the right direction. This actually turned a little bit when I was tightening it. Okay. And also, you can see what we have there. Just finger tight. Okay. So for our next step, I like to go ahead and put the flapper in there because the less stuff you have in the way, the better. So we got this nice corky flapper. We want to make sure that's clean because if it's not clean and debris gets in there, you'll have the same problem. So I like to wipe it off a little bit. This is the kind that slips over the arms. So if you can shine the light down here, you can see how that goes. It just slips over. Sometimes it's a little bit tough to get your fingers in there, but okay, see that slips over this same way. All right, take it out. Move the camera from me, please. Okay. Winches off that. Let's say right about there. Okay. And we'll check this. See what that's going to look like. And that clips right on there. Like that. Beautiful. We're going to turn the water on. And we're going to allow that to fill up and see where our water level is. So we'll give that a minute. wiping it down.
How much does it usually cost to have someone over and do that for us?
Well, for a service call, you could be, you know, $100, $200 just for have a plumber coming out here to do that. The part is under $20, so you can save $100 easily.
Or
by doing it yourself.
180
Yeah.
if it's 200.
Yeah, because they're gonna mark up I know I'm a contractor, so normally you mark up the part, you know, and then you also, you know, for your labor. So we can see where we filled up. And look, that appears to be a little bit too low now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna adjust it upward to allow the water to come in more. We're gonna give it a flush.
Or you're doing it on the top.
Yeah. If that's not enough, we're gonna have to take it back out.
So you adjusted using this, right? This knife
Yes.
right here.
And I'm allowing the
We'll see. We'll see how.
I don't want to be to this line like it was before because it was overflowing down into here.
But a little bit higher than it was.
Yeah,
last
usually a
time.
half inch is what I like. A half inch below that tube.
Which tube? This one.
No, you want a half inch below this.
This one. Okay.
Because this is going down into your bowl. You
I see. I see.
So if the water level's all the way up here, it could keep running over across here down
Got
into there.
you. Oh, okay.
So that's a lot of reasons what happens.
The water was running like that.
Yeah. Now normally what you can do is you can mark your level in your bowl, and that tells you, you know, you're about right.
No wonder why the bill was a little bit higher.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe it was this one and the one upstairs. Okay.
And see, that's still a little bit below, but I still like it there because we're about a half inch below where we were. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flush it and see how it works. And you can see it works great. The flapper closes. So we didn't even need to be up as high as I thought I needed to be.
Okay. Don't forget
So we're going
to
to try it
follow-
one more time.
Okay.
You can see you have a little debris in the tank. See?
Yeah.
That's good. I'm about a half inch below where I was before and about the same here. So let's give it one more flush. Bingo. So that showed you how to save a little bit of money on a plumbing repair that anybody can do. You don't even really need tools. The only tools you may need is to cut the hose like I did, and also to initially remove the fill valve because sometimes those are tight over time. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like, please subscribe. And we have many more videos coming to show you how to save a little money on your home. Thank you.
This is a Frigidaire refrigerator, and all of a sudden the water dispenser is not working. So we're trying to throw the line out and see if that will work.